In 1738, a British merchant captain named Robert Jenkins stood before Parliament, reached into his coat, and produced a glass jar. Inside was his own severed, pickled ear. This single preserved body part would soon become the rallying point for a catastrophic global war. The seeds of this conflict were actually planted decades earlier in the 1713 Treaty of Utrecht. Through this agreement, the British government secured the asiento, a monopoly granted to the South Sea Company to supply enslaved people to Spanish colonies. The treaty came with a strict catch. The British could send only one legal merchant ship per year to trade at Spanish colonial ports. This annual ship functioned as a corporate smokescreen. The South Sea Company used its limited legal access to mask a massive smuggling operation, prioritizing corporate profit margins over treaty compliance. Spain attempted to stem the loss of revenue by deploying guarda costas, armed privateers authorized to intercept and search any British ship suspected of carrying contraband. This historical chart illustrates the immense coastlines of the West Indies and Tierra Firme that the Spanish were attempting to police. High traffic lanes, such as the route between Jamaica and Havana, became the primary zones for these interceptions. In 1731, Spanish Captain Fundinho boarded Jenkins' ship, the Rebecca. Finding no contraband, Fundinho grew frustrated and severed Jenkins' ear with a cutlass. While Jenkins kept his ear in a jar, the South Sea Company was actively hiding its true accounting from Spanish officials. They were attempting to avoid paying significant debts by withholding these records. Diplomatic relations eventually buckled under this accounting standoff, leaving the 7-year-old ear incident as a convenient grievance for politicians looking to escalate. By 1738, Tory politicians in London were using Jenkins' ear as a prop. They paraded him before Parliament to force Prime Minister Robert Walpole, who had worked to avoid conflict, into a declaration of war. When war was declared in 1739, the British public celebrated. There was a widespread belief that the Royal Navy would secure a swift victory against the Spanish fleet. Admiral Edward Vernon provided an immediate boost to this narrative. In late 1739, he captured the Spanish port of Portobello using only 6 warships. These stone coastal defenses were typical of the era, relying on fixed cannon batteries to protect harbor mouths. Vernon's swift success suggested these forts were far more vulnerable than previously thought. England entered a state of mania. The anthem "Rule Britannia" was written, medals were struck with Vernon's likeness, and the Navy's new ration of watered-down rum was dubbed grog after Vernon's nickname. This early victory blinded the public to the difficulty of a sustained campaign. It fostered a sense of hubris that would soon be tested in a far more complex ground assault. In 1741, the British launched a massive invasion force against Cartagena de Indias. With over 180 ships and 30,000 men, it was the largest amphibious assault force the world would see until the 20th century. The city was defended by Admiral Blas de Lezo. Despite losing an eye, an arm, and a leg in previous wars, he remained one of Spain's most capable tactical minds. Lezo knew he couldn't win a standard naval battle. Instead, he scuttled his own warships in the narrow Boca Chica Channel, creating a physical barrier of shipwrecks that blocked the entry of the British fleet. As the fleet stalled, the British command fell apart. Admiral Vernon and General Thomas Wentworth spent their time quarreling, which left the ground forces without effective naval cover.
The imposing scale of the Castillo San Felipe fortifications proved too much for the unsupported infantry. They were forced to assault these stone walls in the dark, with ladders that were too short to reach the top. The result was catastrophic. Disease and failed tactics decimated the British force, leaving 90% of the army dead from yellow fever or combat. Admiral Vernon was so confident in his success that he sent a letter home declaring victory while the battle was still being fought. This false report reached London first, leading to a surreal period where the British public celebrated and minted coins showing Blas de Lezo surrendering, even as their army was actually being destroyed. When news of the actual defeat finally arrived, the political fallout ended Prime Minister Walpole's career, and it highlighted major weaknesses within the British Royal Navy. These failures were observed firsthand by American colonial soldiers fighting alongside the British, like Lawrence Washington, who returned to Virginia with a new understanding of the mother country's military vulnerabilities, eventually naming his estate in honor of the defeated admiral. The War of Jenkins' Ear stands as a case study in how corporate greed and accounting fraud can be repackaged as a national legend. It serves as a reminder that the messy reality of imperial failure often hides beneath a more digestible story. For more on the hidden side of history, like this video and subscribe.